Director X unzips his white hoodie during an interview to display his affection for the original Superfly, the 1972 blaxploitation classic he's reimagined for the just-released Superfly. "I'm actually wearing my Superfly shirt today," the filmmaker and music video maestro proudly says, displaying his vintage t-shirt. "I love the original." Director X, the famed music video director who helmed the Superfly remake, photographed June 5 at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Toronto. Lucas Oleniuk, Toronto star, love, however, doesn't have to mean unthinking devotion, as far as the Brampton-raised X-42 is concerned. He brings a similar creative intelligence to a blaxploitation archetype as he does to the music videos that made his name, which include Drake's Hotline Bling, Rihanna's Work with Drake, Iggy Azalea's Fancy with Charli XCX, and Kendrick Lamar's King Kunta. The original Superfly starred the late Ron O'Neal as badass Harlem cocaine dealer Youngblood Priest, who was looking for one last big score before going straight. It had the tagline, "He's got a plan to stick it to the man." X's update, written by Alex Zay, Watchmen, and starring the considerably suaver Trevor Jackson as Priest, shifts the action to music mecca Atlanta. It has a sly and joke about how Priest is making up his get-rich-go-straight plan on the fly. Make that the Superfly. Article continued below, where other directors might have felt daunted by the thought of chipping away at a cultural touchstone like Superfly. X's approach was to respect the original, but then follow the direction it pointed in. "I'm a big source material guy," he elaborates, speaking in a Ritz-Carlton hotel meeting room. "That might have seemed incongruous for Superfly, but not Superfly. I really hate people taking a book and changing the ending or changing the character. It seems like change for change's sake. It feels like, I know a better ending." No, you don't. No one asked you what you know or think. He maintained that philosophy as he retained most of the original film's characters and basic plot, before adding some new faces and extrapolating the story to the global drug trade and police brutality realities of the 21st century. "The changes we made came out of necessity. There are some things from the 1970s that don't translate to the 21st century, such as how Priest in the original movie gets attacked by two junkies. It's hard to believe that a big-time drug dealer in Atlanta who's making millions of dollars is anywhere that junkies are going to get their hands on him." Superfly replaces those incongruous junkies with a rival drug gang called Snow Patrol, which is loosely based on a real-life Atlanta outfit called Black Mafia Family, or BMF. "They've had a really long run," X says. "They were international, with hundreds of millions of dollars. At one point, they had a billboard in the city. Can you imagine?" Article continued below. One other plot tweak advanced by Superfly sees Priest traveling to Mexico to meet the drug lord supplier of the coke that pushers and cops are eager to get their hands on. The first Superfly just had corrupt cops supplying the coke, with no hint to its origin. It didn't feel believable. X says, "They have to get it from somewhere. So we said, alright, the suppliers need to be bigger, especially if Priest is talking about making a score that means something today, and so that opened the door to the Mexicans." X felt he had to downplay one aspect of the original Superfly, the rampant snorting of cocaine. "So much blow is done on screen by so many people." Director Gordon Parks Jr. at one point resorts to a montage set to "Pusher Man," one of the tunes on Curtis Mayfield's masterful Superfly soundtrack album. "They snort coke to say hi. Literally, like, hey, how you doing, try this." X says, laughing, "I didn't want to make it that way. I knew I was making something kind of slick and cool, and I just didn't want to put that visual in people's heads, of all these really cool people that you're supposed to love and care for who are all constantly snorting cocaine every time you turn around." The trickiest aspect of updating Superfly had to be approaching the film's soundtrack, a masterpiece that Rolling Stone ranks as No. 72 on its 500 great albums of all time list, right behind Paul Simon's Graceland but ahead of Led Zeppelin's Physical Graffiti. How could ex and Atlanta producer, composer, rapper Future top Mayfield's conscious falsetto groove on such tunes as Pusher Man, Freddy's Dead, and Superfly? The answer was just to go their own way, with a mellower R. X put in the film a little of the late Mayfield's original, Pusher Man, and Superfly, as a sign of respect to the original genius. As we did for the film, we also said, alright, what's the thing about the music beyond it being one of the greatest albums ever made? What got it to that point? What was the thinking behind it? Well, it's a singular musical vision with a commentary on the movie, and we said, that's what we'll focus on, and so we didn't get caught up saying, we need Freddy's Dead. We weren't competing with the soundtrack. We embraced the philosophy that made that soundtrack, so we have those elements within here. X's collaborative approach to bridging the gap between Superfly and Superfly is also evident in the generosity he extends to up-and-comers like his protege Karina Evans, 22, who started as an intern in his office 3 years ago and who is now a hot video director in her own right. Evans directed the new Drake video, I'm Upset, which launched online Wednesday and reunites him with the Degrassi cast. Evans is also an actress, appearing in the recent Everyday and starring in the upcoming Firecrackers. We saw her work ethic, we signed her to the company. X marvels. She did a year of really amazing work last year that got her the Lipsit Award for being this new innovative talent. She's an actress, she's a director, she's just really one of those special talents. I'm honored to get so much credit for her. Peter Howell is the Star's movie critic. His column usually runs Fridays.